everyone, welcome back to our channel and to a brand new episode of Writing Wednesdays. Here's our newest question, so let's get started. Some people think that too much money has been spent looking after and repairing old buildings, so we should knock down old buildings and build modern ones instead. To what extent do you agree or disagree? I think this is fairly easy for me. I definitely agree. It's a waste of money to be, because again, they have a shelf life, right? They don't last forever. And the older a building, any kind of building is, the more money it takes, the more problems it has. So why not just build something new and modern instead? Okay, so I agree, and I'm gonna write my introduction. Maintaining older buildings. Okay, what's up with my keyboard? Buildings can be a real labor of love and is often not just time consuming, but also resource exhausting, but also exhausts limited financial resources. In light of this, it makes sense to stop wasting time and money on, propping up. Propping really old buildings and instead building new ones in their stead. There we go. So this introduction that we have right here, let's check the word count. This is not showing me the right word count for some reason. So we're gonna have to go and check. I don't know, it could be 36 words, it could be more than that, less than that. I have no idea why this is being so strange. Okay, great, this is 49 words. All right, so we have a 49 word introduction. It's good enough. You don't have to add anything more. The introduction only has 2 jobs anyway. Introduce the topic and share your point of view. That's all. So now I'm gonna have to write my main ideas. Now I think that older buildings may not be appropriate, may no longer be appropriate for modern lifestyles. There's security issues as well. So for example, weather, you have materials, for example, a lot of old buildings, they have lead pipes, asbestos, roofs, etc. So the weather and, newer technologies make things a lot safer, longer lasting. So there we go. And what else? It's a waste of money. It doesn't make sense. I think one of my main ideas, let me just think about this for a sec before I write something. So I need 2 reasons why I agree that new buildings should be built. So newer buildings, old technologies, less safe, not long lasting, right? Okay. Making newer buildings is a great solution, is a long lasting, is a much better idea, considering longevity maybe, the use of resources. Money is limited, newer buildings, less upkeep, maintenance, longer lasting, better materials, better for the environment as well, newer technologies. Right, there we go. So we have our 2 main ideas. I'm going to take my first main idea, I'm going to paste that over here. I'm going to start with my first supporting idea, which is weather. Okay, maybe not weather. I think materials should be my first. Yes, exactly. The biggest issue with many older apartments and homes is the use of materials that are either toxic or potentially fatal. For example, lead used in pipes, and asbestos used in roofs. In fact, many of these materials, okay, we now talk about technologies. In fact, many older technologies also pose risks for the inhabitants, as these buildings may no longer be safe or at least have a limited shelf life remaining, no matter how much money and effort one pours into fixing things. Another thing that has to be kept in mind is climate change, as the weather today is quite different. As the climate today, right? Not the weather. Weather is day to day. So as the climate today is quite different to the climate one had to what it was a few decades ago. So buildings, such older buildings, may not heat or cool appropriately, causing risks to people's welfare. There we go. Therefore, such buildings do not serve the needs of people today. That's my first paragraph. Then I'm going to go and get my second main idea, which is right here. Making newer buildings instead. Whoops. Buildings is a much better idea considering the use of resources. A much better, you can say, use of resources. Much better, much smarter, much better. Oops, use of resources. There we go. The fact is that money is a limited resource and needs to be used judiciously. And newer buildings require less maintenance and upkeep, causing fewer costs, not just to the builder, but the owners of these homes and apartments as well. When it comes to another important factor is the quality of construction, as these would also be longer lasting due to changes and due to improvements in technology, longer lasting, and as these would use safer, healthier, and better materials, and also be longer lasting due to improvements in technology. These improvements are also good for the environment compared to older buildings, as newer ones tend to uphold environmental codes and ensure a safe and harmonious coexistence of people on the planet without causing much damage, basically. So hence, it is a no-brainer. It makes sense to invest in erecting newer buildings. Let's say new homes and apartments or homes instead of, that's fine. I don't have to say instead of because I can do that later. And both my body paragraphs look more or less the same in size, what does that actually mean? It means that both of your paragraphs are well developed. That's the only thing. It's not like they're going to check, oh, this one is 150 words, that one is 130, that one gets a lower score, nothing like that. It just looks nicer. Then we'll write our conclusion. So we start with, in conclusion, it is evident that Although, well, actually, here I only have 2 ideas, don't I? Wait. I have, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Great, there we go. So it is evident that mm, instead of, investing the money, time, and resources into, the upkeep of old buildings, newer ones should get precedence because they use fewer resources and are more appropriate for the modern human. Yeah, if this change is not undertaken, we would see a decrease in the standard of living. Or maybe we could, let's say, write something else. We would see major problems. We would see people suffer major problems, not just financial, but also in terms of their health and safety, or their safety, of their welfare, let's say welfare. That covers everything. There we go. So we should get precedence because they use few resources. We see people suffer not just financially, but also in terms of their welfare. Great. There we go. Problems, financial problems. That's why I'm not saying financially. There we go. So that's our conclusion. Let me show you the first paragraph, which is, well, your introduction. That's right here. You can pause the screen, by the way, to take your time and read it. Then you have the first body paragraph right here. And you have the second body paragraph right here. And you also have your conclusion. There we go. Let's check the whole thing. How big is this or how small is it? Okay, so the word count tool is acting up. We're just going to go right here. There we go. So that's 365 words. A good effort. And again, you'll see it doesn't take much time to write a good essay. It's just a question of ensuring that you have the right ideas, that you have the right language skills. And in fact, we can help you with both of these things. We run courses that start every Monday. So feel free to call this number that you see on your screen, or you can send us a WhatsApp message and I'll respond to you personally. All right, then, don't forget to check out our other videos. And we have a new one coming up on Saturday for speaking, or you can check in next week for another writing episode. Until then, bye-bye.